Hey guys, EBPMAN here, and today we're going to review tips and tricks for your Google Pixel 3 and 3 XL. Let's check it out. So if you picked up a Google Pixel 3 or 3 XL or you're considering it, this is a good video to watch because this is going to go over everything you need to know from a tips and tricks perspective on how to use the Pixel 3 and 3 XL. Pretty much how to configure it to get the most out of the phone. So what we're going to do is get right to the basics as well as some advanced features. And also, just make sure that you check out that first 10 things to do video because we're not going to be covering those items in this video. I'll keep it in the comment area so that you can access it, and I'll also show up as a card just in case you want to jump to that one as well. Make sure you hit the subscribe button and tap the little bell icon to get notified when new videos become available. All right, so let's go ahead and talk about navigation. So first of all, you do have a virtual home button here that's going to allow you to tap and go back and forth. If you swipe over, it's going to open up the last app that you're in, and then it's going to allow you to switch between these apps. If you were to swipe up, you're going to be able to see all the windows or the apps that you were in, and then you can choose one to look at, and then when you swipe, it's going to switch between that previous one and the one that you're in. Now, in addition to that, if you swipe up, you can press and hold, and then you can use the split screen feature, and you can have two windows side by side. You can get out of that by simply doing this, swiping this one down. It's going to make it full screen again, and then now I'm out. Now, you can, let's get out of this right here. As we go up, you can cycle through all of your apps quickly by either swiping here, or let's go back up here. Let's not launch that guy. You'll notice that I now have the ability to swipe on the bottom to go to the app I'd like to. So this is a real quick way in how you can swipe between apps and access the appropriate app that you were just in. Really convenient if you were looking at your address book and then this was Google Maps and you wanted to swipe back and forth. Now the next thing you can do is by swiping up, you're going to see the most recent apps that you've used here, as well as some that are pretty fixed. So this is going to show that. If you continue to swipe up, what will happen is you'll have all of your apps that you have access to, and you can access them there as well. Now, still looking at the home page, you do have a couple options now. If you press and hold, you do get these shortcuts. So this is telling you, things that you can do. You can go to your apps. You can go into 18 have been updated. If you press and hold on many of these, you'll notice you can start a new tab, new browser. They're going to have this secondary function just by simply pressing and holding. If you press and hold here, you could go into either taking a selfie immediately or taking a video without having to go in and configure. And the same thing is going to happen with your phone icon as well as your message icon. They're all multifunction based on when you press and hold. Now, grouping icons works pretty much the same way as we saw before. So here I have this group. Let's say I wanted to create a group between these two. All I do is drag on top of the other icon that I want, and now I have them grouped. I can select the group, and then I can name the folder, whatever I'd like. Or what I can do is drag something out of that folder, and then now all of a sudden it's a single item. So groups is pretty easy. And you can also have groups on this row here at the very bottom if that's what you choose. Now, by pressing and holding on the screen, you're going to be able to go into your widgets area. So you'll be able to see these are all the widgets that are available based on the apps that I have installed. The more apps you install, the more widgets you're going to have. But right now, it's pretty streamlined to the applications that you've installed on your phone. But this is going to continue to grow as you add more. Now, you do find that I would say, like in some of the other phones that we reviewed on the channel, that there's more stock widgets in here because of how they've configured and installed it. But given that this is a pure Google experience, these are the things that you're going to be able to see and you're going to be able to work with. Now, all these widgets are drag and drop. All you do is you touch the widget, and then place it on the screen, and you're set to go. Alright, so now the next thing that we're going to look at are toggles. So you'll notice that at the very top there you have these toggles. And being able to organize them is a pretty powerful thing. So what you're going to be able to do is click on this pencil that's right here, and then you could change the order of any toggle. So if I want this toggle to be here, because that's more important to me, I can change it. I can change any of the things that are here, and if I go down, I'm going to see that there's several other items that are here that are kind of grouped by category. The whole point is that this is fully configurable, and they're, again, real powerful on-off switches. So if you notice in mine, I have my Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, flashlight, and hotspot, and then I have my VPNs as airline mode as well, which means that when I come out of this, and I pull down, you'll notice that I have all the things that are most important to me all lined up nicely on top. Now the next thing we're going to go through is the settings area of our phone. So we're going to go all the way down, go into settings, and we're going to start from the very top. So let's go from the very top. So there's an area right here where you have some quick tips, but you can search for any setting by just tapping on the search icon and then typing in the word or the phrase or the sentence, and it's going to try to find where that shows up in this bodied area. So what we're going to do is we're going to first take a look at network and internet. Now here we're going to talk about your hotspot, and there's some really neat features that you can enable by using the hotspot feature. So first of all, you basically will have to turn that on, and you do have a couple settings. You have these areas for tethering, but we're going to go into the Wi-Fi hotspot, and here you have what your hotspot name is, which you can rename, which I always do. What kind of security and what your hotspot password is. What you also have the ability to do is determine the band. And this is something that I kind of find that works really well for me. I choose to have the 5 gigahertz band. And the reason why I choose the 5 gigahertz band is because I'm typically very close. My phone is very close to my laptop or tablet. And if I'm in an area where it's very congested with Wi-Fi, most of them are going to be on 2.4. So by switching to 5.0, I'm kind of like in a noise-free area, and I experience faster response time to the internet, overall better experience because of just being on a band that no one's on. So this is an important tip. Now again, if you'd like to change your hotspot name, all you do is you tap on it and you'll be able to change it, change your password, and then once again here what you would do is choose the band, and I recommend being in band 5. All right, so the next area we're going to visit is going to be the connected devices. And under connected devices, we're going to go ahead and look at connection preferences. And the reason why I want to take you here is because if you want to be able to print from your phone, you can, as long as you have a network or a Wi-Fi printer, but you need to make sure that you have the right service. So you notice right here it says default print service on. You can go here and you can choose a variety of printers. So I'm going to choose HP because that's what I have in my house, hit install. And what it's going to do is it's going to put in the appropriate plugin so that I can use my phone to print. So when I go to print, you'll notice HP is one of those services there, and it's going to print to my printer, and it's going to format it correctly. So again, you'll want to go ahead and install that, and if you have a Canon printer, you do it via Canon, Epson, HP, whatever brand. Now another cool feature that we have here really focuses on Android Beam. Make sure that you have this enabled, and this is going to allow you to touch Android phone to Android phone and share content. This will work with any brand. So as long as it's Android and they both have Android Beam on, what you'll be able to do is tap phones with a Samsung, with a Motorola, Sony, any phone that has NFC and has this feature, you'll be able to transfer files back and forth. Now still under the settings area, neat area to go into is the battery, because battery is going to highlight for you any kind of apps that are misbehaving and taking up a lot of battery life. So you'll notice here apps are running normally. If you hadn't, you'd be able to see the apps that are the offender apps. So every now and then, this happens to me at home, my wife will say, hey, my phone's battery just got zapped so fast. Well, what was it? And when we go into the battery settings, we can see in this area if there was a misbehaving app. So this is the area that you'd go. Now, while in this area, one thing that I'll highlight also is that you do have the show battery percentage here. We showed this as one of our first tips. So if you want to be able to see that, make sure you have this enabled. Now, next up is displays. And under display, there are a couple of things that we're going to talk about. So first of all, the night light, which is going to give you the ability to have I'm going to turn this on so you can see it. It's going to give you kind of a yellowish tint, amber tint to your phone, making it easy to read at night. And what you can do is enable that using some of the scheduling features that we have here. You also then have adaptive bright light. So the adaptive bright light is going to take into account everything that's going on around you. It's going to adjust a light for you automatically. So it's a nice feature to have. Wallpaper, you can play with your wallpapers. I'll leave that out. If we go into advanced, you can choose when your phone is going to go to sleep. This drives me crazy because when you get the new phones, they're set to 15 seconds. So change it to a minute, change to something else so you can get the time that you'd like. Now, in addition to being able to work with your auto rotation, you do have color options. And let's face it, most of us have different color preferences. So if I choose natural, it's going to mute a little bit down more of the colors. Boosted is going to make the colors more richer, so that's the reds are redder, the yellows are yellower, and you're kind of seeing that effect happening here. And then if you choose adaptive, which means adjust based on lighting conditions, color, you can do that. Boosted is just going to make it more saturated if that's something that you like. But I'd say play with the colors to see what's your fancy, what you like the most. All right, so the next thing that we have here is a couple things that are related. We have font size and display size. So here you can see by changing the font size how big things are, right? So you can do that here. And then your display size, you can also modify how the visuals will work. So a lot of functionality features that you can use when it comes to customizing your display. Now there are two more features here that I like using. Ambient display, right, which is the always on, and that's gonna, when you have your phone off, and we'll show you here with this Pixel. I'm gonna turn it off. This one in a second you'll see it has an ambient display, so you can see that there. So this ambient display is again going to give you the ability to see the clock, give you specific detail about what's going on. So nice feature to have. And then you could also see new notifications wake screen when you receive them, so to have your screen come alive when those come across. Now the last feature we're going to talk about in display, we covered it in our tips, is the device theme to dark. So when I pull this menu down, you notice that the top here is black, and then if I were to go to Google, the Google Now, actually, the news feed, it would be dark as well. If I change this to light, what will end up happening is this top portion is going to be light. See that? We'll do it full. It's light. I prefer the dark theme, and then so when I pull it down, everything is black. Makes it easier to read it outside. So we'll skip the sound because that's pretty straightforward. It's going to cover all your volume controls. We did talk about do not disturb in our video for shortcuts, or the first 10 things to do, so check that out. And then also we did cover most of these features here when it comes to the sound area. So what we're going to do is we're going to move on to storage, and in storage you can see what's consuming your storage. Obviously things are broken down, and by tapping either one of these, if I were to choose games for example, it's going to give me details as to what's using up my space. So it gives you a nice little trick or tool that helps you manage the space on your SD card or on your phone. Alright, next thing that we have coming up is security and location. The thing about this is that you want to use your fingerprint sensor or your fingerprint to be able to manage your logins and logs out. Let me go ahead and enter my PIN because my finger will not work here. And now you can have multiple fingers recorded, but it sometimes is a hard time to figure out which one is which. But if you notice, if I use this, it's telling me that the first one is my finger. And now it's telling me that the second one is my finger. Now, when you click on this, I could actually name this. So I can say if I want right index. And that may make it easier for me to see. But you notice now when I tap on it, it's still going to light up. And right now in this case that's 2. If I try a finger that's not registered, it's just blank. So you can go ahead and add a finger. And what I would recommend is when you do this that you try rotating your phone in different angles, because you want to get a good impression, and you don't want to run into a situation where your phone is not recognizing you, especially when you have your arms full of groceries or something like that. So register multiple fingers, and that's how you identify them. Now, if you use your phone in your car or if you use it when you're running, Smart Lock is a really neat feature. Let me go ahead and put in my password and we'll explain it. So Smart Lock is going to create trusted devices. So this is how this works. When I'm in my car, I have, as a trusted device, I have my car, the Bluetooth connection that I have in my car. When I'm wearing my headphones, my headphones are a trusted device. If I'm wearing my smartwatch, that would be a trusted device. So what this will do is that if you're in your car connected to Bluetooth, your phone is not going to lock or require a password to unlock it. If you are running and you're wearing your Samsung band or other band, your Apple Watch, and it's connected to your phone, in this case obviously the iPhone or the Apple Watch doesn't work here, but you get the point. It's going to keep your phone from locking. So it's a smart way to unlock your phone. I have it connected to my watch, so when I am connected, I don't have to worry about putting in a user ID or password because my watch is my password or is part of my trusted device circle. Now there are other things that you could do here from security as well. You could do on-body detection, which I don't recommend. That just means that if it's on your body. You could do trusted locations, which means if when you come to your house, you can tag your house and your phone won't lock. And then you do a voice match. Those are some of the other options that you have. Now, if we move down to digital well-being, this is an interesting spot. Basically, Google is giving you the ability to understand what you have in the form of usage when you're using your phone. How long has this been unlocked? How many times have you unlocked it? What kind of notifications? You see this, Samsung is doing the same thing. And this is just trying to help you balance your use of your phone. Now, if I go in here, I can actually enable set a bedtime schedule, and then unwind is going to figure that stuff for me. So that's one thing you can do. You could also disable notifications if you like, and also use the flip to type feature. So if you enable this feature right here, you'll be able to flip your phone over and it will go into the lock state. Now the last tip that I wanted to share with you has to do with the ability to have multiple users using a phone but having a private experience for each person. So what you can do here is you notice that you have reset options, developer options that I've enabled, but multiple users. When you click on this, you can create multiple users, and this is going to give you the ability to have one person almost log into the phone and have a unique experience with wallpaper and where their icons are, and then a second person do the same thing. It's really great when you only have one phone in your house and you're looking to share it. So guys, that concludes our review from a tips and tricks perspective from the Google Pixel. If you have any comments or questions, leave it in the comment area. Make sure you smash the subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next one.